Hi there, Serial Trader here. Let's have a look at weed and CGC. So starting off with CGC, so our significant lows we had here, which was kind of critical support, 30.26, that got taken out. And actually that was already pretty clear that it was going to be taken out yesterday because weed was still trading yesterday. And weed took out its equivalent level, which was 40 on the money there. Yeah, 40 even. Weed yesterday went as low as 36.36, and now bouncing a bit today. So even though there's a gap down on CGC, there isn't really one. Just it wasn't trading because of the Bush service there, but weed was still trading, so we still have information here. And on weed, just looking at the hourly chart, just looks like we have a hourly oversold bounce in play. But I think it's likely we resume the downtrend before we find our true bottom. So yeah, that's just looking at weed there for filling in the gap. But yeah, on CGC, as far as the wave labeling goes, well, obviously we don't have our 5 of C of 2 in place at this point. So we're obviously working that at the moment, looking for a bottom, but I don't think we have it yet. So I'll make a little adjustment to the wave labeling here. So this is likely our wave 3, and then we had this more longer lasting wave 4. Didn't overlap with 1, so that works. And now we're coming down in 5. So for 5 of C of that larger 2. Now we got past the 618 relationship between A and C. We also got past the 50% retracement of the entire history of the chart, all-time low to all-time high. So right now we're currently sitting on that, and actually we closed at 30.34. But looking at the weed chart, it was just an oversold bounce from yesterday's action, so I wouldn't get too excited yet. And obviously well below the daily T line here, and that daily T line continues to provide resistance. So we're going to want to see that to start acting as support once we actually start going up again, to have some confidence that there really is a tradable bottom in place. Now some other targets to the downside, we have the AC equality relationship, and that's quite low, and that comes in at 1931 on CGC. We also have the this triangle wave 4, kind of the apex of the triangle could be a potential area to find support, and that would be around 20, 21, so close to that equality relationship between A and C. And then we have the 618 retracement, 618 of the entire chart at 23.26, so that's what that line is. So I still think it goes lower in all likelihood before we actually get our true pivot. Could be wrong, but that's what I'm currently working. Now on the 4-hour RSI, not yet oversold on the 4-hour RSI. And we know that on previous significant bottoms, we tend to get oversold on the 4-hour RSI and then even come down again, make a bullish divergence on it, get oversold but not as oversold before we have our true bottom. That's often the case with our 4-hour RSI. Same goes for the hourly RSI. So you can see CGC just doing an hourly oversold bounce, but likely we'll have to come down, make new lows, and maybe not get as oversold in hourly RSI, make our bullish divergence. We just don't have it yet. So that's why I'm favoring that the low is not in place yet. Now, unfortunately, since CGC wasn't trading yesterday, my stop order at 30 couldn't get triggered. Then obviously we opened well below that today. So I actually canceled the stop order, did something different instead. What I did was I kept the stock. I sold covered calls above my actual entry price, which I believe here was the 32.5 strike covered calls, July 2019 expiration. And then I bought a greater number of 27.5 puts, March 2019 expiration. So the idea behind this is that, we, on a short-term basis, go lower, make new lows, find support on one of these areas here, and also we still have this gap to fill down here, which would be filled at 26.37. And then we also have just these support levels, which are around 24. Yeah, around 24. But yeah, so the idea is that on a short-term basis, we come lower. So the puts that were bought make money, and also the cover calls that were sold become less valuable, which is positive because you sold them. So at a certain point, when it looks like the bottom is in or very close, close the puts for a profit on those, buy back the covered calls to get rid of those, and obviously you're going to be buying them back for a lot less than you sold them for, so that's a positive as well. And then leave the stock in place, or even add stock with the new proceeds, from the option played in there, and then ideally come back up with an even bigger position, at least share-wise, bigger position to the upside. So that's my rough game plan. See if it works out. Well, so far today it wasn't working out particularly well since we recovered upward since I did that, which isn't particularly good for that position. Although, I mean, if we start showing some compelling signs, get above the T line, I think at that point I'd probably say, okay, I guess we have a pivot. I'd close the puts for some sort of loss on those. Close the covered calls for some sort of loss on those. And then just let the stock run and make up for that mistake, should that happen. But my current game plan is try and benefit a little bit to the downside, and then close it. Maybe even add to the position there with the proceeds, and then ride back up once we get a true pivot. We'll see how it plays out, but that's currently how I have it on my trade there. Now, let's see here. CGC. So we've lost the 200-day simple moving average. We've lost that long-term uptrend line. We're not actually oversold on this oscillator yet. In fact, we're just heading down now after a little bounce up. So yeah, the volume today, despite having a good intraday recovery, it was still a down day, by the way, on CGC, although obviously an up day on weed from yesterday's trading. Volume wasn't particularly high, 10 million shares. You can see we've traded a lot higher than that in the past, so I wouldn't say that that's convincing volume that today is a significant pivot. I don't think it is. And what else am I going to mention here? Also, so our previous critical support level here that we wanted to see hold, that was 30.26. Well, it looks like we basically just come up today to touch that range. Maybe it was support now acting as resistance. So if we fail right around here, that's pretty short-term bearish to lead to further downside, right? It's not uncommon to break a level, come down, come up, retest the level, fail at it again, and then go down. So that's currently what I'm seeing with this chart. Anyway, we'll see how this one plays out. That should be good for now. Serial Trader signing off.